It's not you owning it and not politicians owning it. Politicians are employees of ours. Whether you're Democrat or whether you're a Republican or whether you're Libertarian or whatever, you're the best. And we should not ever forget that. And when somebody does not do the job, we gotta let them go. You ought to make my day. All right. I'll start it, you finish it. Go ahead.
Then came the knockout moment. No sidestepping, no filters. He didn't just poke at the usual politics. He went straight for the throat. Barack Obama took a direct hit as he was called out for what was labeled a cowardly legacy, specifically for leaving Guantanamo Bay open after years of empty promises, and for fueling the very wars he claimed he'd end. The studio. It exploded, gasps, cheers, stunned applause. But the media. Total radio silence. Networks dodged it. Headlines danced around the point. Because in that single, fire-breathing moment, someone finally said what the media elite didn't dare whisper, and it hit like a thunderclap.
Mr. Obama won the election, and though I wasn't a big supporter, I was watching that night. I just thought, this is great. I mean, everybody's crying, Oprah was crying, and I was even crying. I haven't cried that hard since I found out that there's 23 million unemployed people.
But this wasn't just a shot at Obama. This was a wrecking ball aimed at the entire political illusion. It tore into a philosophy that dresses up fear as diplomacy, that hides in polished speeches and avoids the truth like it's radioactive. This was a full frontal attack on the culture of cowardice, the politicians who dodge, delay, and distract while real issues rot beneath the surface. It wasn't just about one administration. It was about the entire machine that feeds off comfort, compromise, and cover-ups.
The administration hasn't done enough to cure that. So I've got Mr. Obama sitting here, and I just was going to ask him a couple questions. So, Mr. President, how do you handle promises that you made? You don't have.
Then Clint Eastwood flipped the whole conversation on its head, like only someone with zero fear of backlash can. He didn't talk like a politician. He didn't care what polls said. He laid it out raw. America doesn't need another rehearsed robot in a suit. We need real people. People with scars. People who've failed, fought, and still have the guts to speak truth with no PR team in their ear. No teleprompters. No spin. Just backbone.
I know even some of the people in your own party were very disappointed when you didn't close Gitmo. Oh, what do you mean, shut up? I know you were against the war in Iraq, and that's okay. But you thought the war in Afghanistan was...
Then came Whoopi Goldberg, brimming with smug energy, ready to dominate. Button Coulter wasn't having it. She steamrolled her, fast. Whoopi floundered, unable to bounce back. The look on her face said it all. She wasn't prepared for someone who wasn't afraid to punch back. Hard.
It's just something about having a target date for bringing everybody home. And you give an atomic target date, and I think Mr. Romney asked the only sensible question. He says, why are you giving the date out now? Why don't you just bring them home tomorrow morning? What do you want me to tell Romney? I can't tell him to do that. He can't do that to himself. See, I never thought it was a good idea for attorneys to be president anyway, because I think attorneys are so busy, they're always taught to argue everything and always weigh everything and weigh both sides. I think it's maybe time, what do you think, for maybe a businessman? Something that I think is very important is that we own.
Clint Eastwood didn't need a loud voice. Just dead silence and unshakable symbolism. That's how he gutted Obama's polished legacy live on air. And as the dust settled, Coulter followed with a verbal uppercut that floored Whoopi. She unraveled, ranting over a 27-year-old press secretary like a child who didn't get her way. That's what it looks like when the mask slips, and the truth gets a microphone.
Because you had millions of white people watching, the equivalent of what in New York we used to refer to as the Brooklyn juries, who simply would not convict even guilty black criminals. We used to know what you're talking about. Tell me how much you know about being black. Well, this is well, what you just said, you just made all these statements about how black people feel.
And if you thought it ended there, think again. Whoopi got dismantled again, this time by Dr. Phil, who left zero room for her to spin the narrative. Then came the showdown with Rosie O'Donnell. Whoopi tried shutting her down, claiming white women had no right to weigh in on racism. But Rosie didn't blink. She fired back with logic, fire, and facts, and left Whoopi defenseless, flustered, and completely exposed.
Race mongering has been very bad for America. Liberals use it to promote causes that have nothing to do with blacks and in fact harm black. By crime Giuliani in New York, Reagan and Bush judges overall, tens of thousands of black lives were saved. That is a fact. I don't have to know how about being black.
Do you believe it was racist for Newt to say that the president is a footsie president?
In fact, one of the first states in the Union to pass voter ID bills was Rhode Island, 85% Democratic legislature. And who pushed it? A black Democrat in the House, a black Democrat in the Senate.
You blab. You just go on and 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 on That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say, they talk at you, not to you, and that's what she was doing, and she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now,
Yeah.
and we are anticipating.
And the same agencies that knew that are the agencies that shut down the schools for 2 years. Who does that? Who takes away the support system for these children? Who takes it away and shuts it down? And by the way, when they shut it down, they stopped the mandated reporters from being able to see children that were being abused and sexually molested, and in fact sent them home and abandoned them to their abusers with no way to watch, and referrals dropped 50 to 60%. So,
It was also
yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah, it was-
They were trying to save
They were trying to save kids' lives. Remember, we know a lot of folks who died during this. So, it wasn't, people weren't laying around
School
eating
children.
lunch. Well, you know what? We're lucky. Maybe we're lucky they didn't, because we kept them out of the places that they could be safe, because no one wanted to believe we had